Hey guys, what's up? On my vlog channel, I told you guys I was going to be... I can talk. On my vlog channel, I told you guys that I was going to be making this video addressing something that happened to me recently. I don't particularly want to talk about it, but I feel like it's important because it's one of those real things. I shouldn't be doing that. It is real. It's very real. And it's one of those bad things. The kind of thing that I just would leave off camera. Like, what happens off camera stays off camera. That's how I used to view my videos and stuff. But now, as you know, if you've been following me for the last couple months, you know that I've been bringing those things to light. A, because it's therapeutic for me. B, because I want you guys to have a more well-rounded scope, whatever word here, of who I am. I want you guys to see all sides of it, and in case anybody can draw any amount of inspiration from it, who, you know, it just, if it makes them feel a little less alone, if they're going through something similar, then it's totally worth it, you know? Like, what happens, happens. I can't change it, but what I choose to do with it afterwards is my responsibility. So either I can sit on it and just pretend it didn't happen and move on, or I can choose to share it and hopefully benefit somebody, or at the very least use it as a tool to just help you guys know me a little bit better and just understand a little better what goes on off camera, so that sometimes when I disappear for a while off of the internet, you kind of have a better idea of what might be going on, or when I respond in certain ways to comments or messages or whatever, you have a better understanding of my personality, or you know kind of the things that trigger me, because I see you guys as my friends, you know? Like, I don't know all of you individually, of course, that's like impossible, but I know a good deal of you based on the comments that you leave me, and I've interacted with several of you, and some of you have become my friends over the years, and that's awesome. And in order to connect more, it's like I don't want to hide a big part of myself from you, because I feel like that would be, I don't know, just wrong, and I just don't want to do it anymore. So now that that giant caveat is out of the way, sorry. So let me start off by saying that I'm okay now. This happened a while ago, like weeks ago. And I'm not gonna go into detail because I don't want to accidentally trigger anybody, most of all myself, because that's kind of where this whole thing started, stupidly enough. I made that video about depression and I like really went into detail and it was long. So what ended up happening was, because I sat there and told it, and then I sat there and edited it, so I watched through it. I watched through it like to make sure it's good. So wallowing in it that much triggered me into depression. It's not funny, but it is. Like, I triggered myself. I put a trigger warning in the beginning and I'm the one who got triggered. Meh. So I'm not gonna go into a bunch of detail because I don't want to bring anybody down. This is more like I just kind of want to tell you what happened and remain a positive attitude throughout this one. I don't want this to be like a super depressing, sad video. So that's what happened. It was, I was depressed for a couple of weeks, actually. It was, I kind of went in and out of it. Right when I thought that it was over, I would just like slam dunk right back into it. So I was kind of doing like a roller coaster in and out thing with it, and it sucked so bad. And it was really affecting me. Like, I wasn't getting my work done on time, and I was, you know, really bad about doing the videos because I just didn't want to. It was affecting my time with Mike. It was just affecting my overall mood and just my quality of life, because that's what depression does. So I was in this really bad place, and at the same time, okay, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm not gonna sugarcoat stuff. Mike and I fight. I mean, everybody fights. Every couple who actually cares about each other, they fight. So what happened was, during my depressive episodes, something inconveniently happened right in the middle of that. It wasn't anything major. It was just a little thing where he was mad, I was mad, and we were both mad at the same time, and we both had needs that the other person couldn't meet because we were each dealing with our own crap at the same most inconvenient time. So that's basically a catastrophe waiting to happen. Because traditionally, the way we handle things is like, one person is dealing with something, the other person like scoops in and is like, okay, I'm your partner, I'll bear the weight for a minute and help you solve this, and I'm your support system, my shit doesn't matter right now. You know, that's how we deal with things usually. But in this instance, neither of us was mentally or physically able to be there for the other one, because he was going through his own stuff. I'm not going to talk about his business, but he's been dealing with a lot of work-related stress. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on that he can't talk about, and I'm not going to repeat what I do know because, again, not my business, not your business, no offense. So he was dealing with his own stuff, and he was counting on me to be there for him. But I was depressed so hardcore that I couldn't even be there for myself, and I really needed him to be there for me. But he couldn't because he was dealing with his own mess of stuff, so it was just a really badly timed double whammy of crap that we were both going through at the same time. So we ended up getting into a fight. And it was a bad fight. I mean, not physical, it never gets physical. It was just like a lot of kind of yelling and stuff. So that didn't do anything for my mental state, and I'm sure it didn't help him either, you know, because, unfortunately, in angry moments, people say things that, you know, they regret and they can't take back, especially if the fight is bad enough. No matter how much we love each other, you know, not just me and him, but like anybody in the world, sometimes you say things, stuff just comes out and, you know, it's regrettable, but it comes out. So I was super vulnerable, like in this super vulnerable, already completely depressed, feeling like the world was against me, feeling like I wasn't good enough, feeling like I was worthless mental state. It was so bad, and the fight just exacerbated it into this just pit of hell in my head. I'm like, okay, everything is fine as long as I have Mike, because he's like both things. He's my best friend and the love of my life. So as long as I have Mike, the rest of the world, if the rest of the world just falls to crap for me, as long as I have Mike as my rock, I can like sort of struggle through it a little bit better until I get on my feet again, and it's fine. In this instance, I felt like I lost Mike because of this huge fight that we had, and it really just, I mean, logically, it's like it was just a fight, you know, you'll get over it, you go through it, you know, it happens, you know, it's happened before, you know, it'll happen again, it's not a big deal. But because of my vulnerable, fragile mental state where I was already in this really dark place, which is where depression puts you, whether you like it or not, I felt like my world just fell apart, and I didn't know what to do. I came into this room, my room, I didn't say anything to him, I just like stopped talking, I was just crying, and came into my room, and just these dark thoughts just like flooded into my head, and I knew I needed help. I couldn't talk to him at the moment because we were just completely at odds, and it was just horrible for me. I couldn't think straight, and I was just all completely upset and distraught and just crying my eyes out. In fact, I actually did take video of myself because I told myself, document this, like, because the camera is therapy for me, and plus I can document it. I can look at it later, or I can share it with you guys. I just thought of a multitude of reasons why it's a good idea to talk to the camera right now, because it's something to talk to. So here's a very, very short clip from that, just so you can see what I'm talking about. I can't even focus right now. And I feel so alone. Okay, so that was just a tiny fraction I showed you, because again, I don't want this to be a super downer of a video. That video was like 11.5 minutes long, and that was how long I talked to the camera. But I was in this really bad place where I knew I needed help, so I took my own advice, and I called the National Suicide Hotline. That's the first time in my life I've ever called. I tried to reach out to Kevin first. Sometimes I reach out to Kevin because he has had problems with depression and he understands it. But for whatever reason, he wasn't answering my texts, and that's unusual, so he must have been asleep. I found out later that he was asleep, and he was like, oh crap, I'm so sorry, you know, and so I was just like, I need somebody right now. So I tried to do like the text thing, because I'm not good on the phone, and plus I was crying, so I knew I wouldn't be able to be understood very well. And I was just on the waiting thing for like way too long. It was like 10-15 minutes or something like that, and I was like, I can't wait anymore, I can't. So I called them, and the lady actually did have to tell me, you know, speak a little more clearly, just calm down, you know, so I can understand you a little better, because I was just like, you know, so it's not funny, but this is the reality. So, long story short, I told her what was going on. So she actually referred me to my local thing here in Grand Forks, and she said that they should have like a place where I can go, like with, you know, on-call therapists, like 24 hours or whatever if I need to, but she gave me the local phone number, so I called them, and they patched me over to the 24-hour on-call lady, and I talked to her. And she took my name and my full name, and I was like, well, if you really need it, I guess. I was uncomfortable giving it, but I gave it anyway. And she told me, just so you know, just because of the things you're telling me, I'm gonna have to alert my superiors and let them know about it. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine, whatever. So she took my address, which I also thought was strange. She took my phone number in case we got disconnected. So I'm talking to her, and I was feeling better because she's the second person now that I've talk to. So just talking it out with someone who's actually listening and being helpful and being really encouraging, it was very, very helpful. So I'm just going to say right now, guys, if you're ever worried or nervous about calling the suicide hotline or whatever the equivalent is in your country, I know the United States has National Suicide Hotline, but I don't know about other countries. Just a quick Google search will show you that. If you ever have any doubts about that, they're very helpful, and it really does feel better to talk to them. I thought that I was at my wit's end. I thought nothing would help, but it really did feel better to talk to them because they know how to respond, and it does make you feel better because you can tell that they actually care. You can tell that they're listening, and they really do care. I know it's weird to believe that, but I am really skeptical when it comes to, like, you're a paid therapist. Do you actually care about me? I don't think so. But these women actually I felt like they really cared, and it was nice to talk to them. Anyways, so in the middle of my conversation, Mike actually came in, because I think he heard me on the phone, and he came in, and he had his arm around me, and I knew that it was going to be okay. Because he put his arm around me, and he was really sad because he was listening to what I was saying to this woman. He listened for the last 5 minutes of the conversation, and I think he got really, really sad because I don't think he understood the gravity was going on inside of me, because I didn't want to burden him with that on top of the fight, on top of the stuff that he was dealing with too. I couldn't expect him to just drop everything and be there for me. That wasn't fair. So that's why I retreated into here and didn't even say anything to him. But now he heard it, and he was sitting there hugging me, and so I told the lady, I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna be all right now. Thank you. So I hung up, and I turned to Mike, and he was about to say something, and we heard a knock on the door, and I'm just like, oh God. So I ran to answer the door, and it's a cop. And he said, okay, just so you know, the crisis hotline contacted us, and we're responding to this, and it's just protocol. We had to come and see what's going on and make sure that you're safe and make sure we know what's going on. There was 2 cops. The one guy came in, and the other one took Mike and went outside and talked to him while I stayed and talked to the one cop. And so I told the story again. This is the 3rd person I've talked to. So I was telling him, and I was crying and everything while I was talking to him. He cared too. He very obviously cared, and he was even putting in input. He listened to me too. He seemed to really genuinely care as well, which was really nice and reassuring because he was a physical human being right there. And then there were 2 EMTs that showed up too. He said, okay, we were advised to take you to the hospital just to check you out, just to make sure everything's okay. This is what we have to do. And I'm just like, all right. So these 2 EMTs took me into the ambulance. And I was like, whoa, I'm like, this is just blowing out of control. I did not expect any of this. Oh my goodness. So they took me in the ambulance, and Mike stayed behind. He told me just let me know when to come get you or whatever. And I was like, all right, because they advised me to just go alone or whatever. So I rode in the ambulance, and I didn't have to lay on the bed or the stretcher or whatever. I just sat there with a seatbelt on, and the EMT asked me what happened. So I told a 4th person, and I reiterated the whole thing, and he was really listening and really supportive and really encouraging and sympathetic and putting in input about the whole thing, and he was very helpful as well. So that made me feel better. So I've reiterated this to 4 people now, and everyone's been supportive, and everyone's been really nice about it, and they cared, and it felt so good to tell that many people and have them all respond positively, because I'm not used to that. I'm used to people just brushing it off or thinking oh, it's just in your head, oh, it's stupid or whatever, but these people actually listened and they actually cared, and I was like, holy crap. So we get to the hospital, they take me in the room, nurse number 1 comes in, I reiterated to her, person number 5, and then she took my vitals and stuff. She left, and then a second nurse came in. I reiterated the story to her because she asked me, person number 6, right? So then she's like, okay, the doctor will be in soon. So the doctor came in, and I had to tell him all about it now too. So this is person number 7. There's 7 people that I've told the same story in the course of 2 hours. And he was a doctor. Doctors don't have the greatest bedside manner, and that was okay. He was there strictly in professional capacity, and that's all right, because by now I felt fine. I was, like, happy. I was playing Simon's cat, you know, while I was waiting for the people to come in and out. Like, I was joking and laughing and, like, being fun. Because I was fine. Now, you know, I was out of the thick of it, and I had, like, released it from my soul, because I talked to so many people, and I had them support me, and that's really all I needed, apparently. So I was okay by this point, and so, you know, I told Mike to come pick me up, and he did. And they referred me to a psychiatrist, and made an appointment for me, like, 2 days from that day. And so I went and saw her, and she was really helpful too. Of course, she's a psychiatrist, but I mean, I don't always vibe with head doctors. I really never have, honestly. But she was amazing. If I could afford it, I would go see her, but I can't afford it, so I can't. I decided then and there that I was going to start to turn things around. It seems like I have decided to turn things around like 14 times in my life, but there's always another leaf that can be turned over. Always. Like, everyone is people. We're always growing. We're always changing. We're always learning. There's always a step you can take, or multiple steps, towards improvement of yourself, whether outwardly, inwardly, you know, whatever. And there's still things that I need to work on with me, and this situation helped me realize that, and now I'm aware of it, and now I can turn it into a positive thing and work on these things that still plague me inside, which is a private thing, and I'm not actually going to talk about that to you guys, because some things I think should still remain private. This is a private thing with me, but this experience was good because it helped me see that. It brought clarity to the situation. So now I'm aware of the things that I need to improve. So now I've been working towards it, and I've been great for like the last just few days in a row have been fantastic. I feel stronger. I feel happier. I feel more empowered. I feel like charged with like this newfound energy that I didn't know I had and didn't know I needed even, you know? And now I can take it somewhere really positive and apply it to anywhere that I want to in my life. And I just feel so much better just having discovered this about myself. Like, you have to hit rock bottom before you can, you know, start to improve. That's just kind of how it is. And I feel like that was a form of rock bottom for me, mentally at least. I'm really happy that I can learn and grow from that. And I want to emphasize to anybody who suffers from depression or just dark thoughts or anything that's negative that you think you can't change about yourself. You can change anything about yourself that you want. Your motivation for wanting to change has to outweigh the thing that you want to change, because once it does, you'll have no problem just bulldozing right through it. It's like not difficult at all. The trick is you have to realize it, face it, and just take charge. You just have to do it. So even if you're dealing with something bad or dark thoughts or depression or anything like that, it doesn't mean that's the end. If anything, that's the beginning. That's what this was for me. I haven't had depression that bad in a really long time, and it caught me completely off guard. But now, just like a couple of weeks later, I am in such a better place than I was even before that depressive episode, because it helped open my eyes and I could see some things I needed to improve on. So I did it, and I'm doing it, and I feel so much better now, just in general. It's like I peeled off a new layer of skin, and I'm fresher and happier, and it's just great. So I just wanted to let you guys know what I went through, because I wanted to be honest with you. And also I wanted to just bring a spark of hope to anybody dealing with anything crappy right now. It's not gonna stay that way, okay? If anything, it's like the seed for a new beginning. I know that sounds really corny, but it's the best I can do right now. That's why the videos have been in short supply, because I was kind of dealing with all of that and everything. And also my laptop crashed because I slammed my laptop closed during our fight, and I kind of broke it a little bit. So I had to get a new laptop. But anyway, that's just kind of a symptom of what happened, but for the most part, I think I would have been on a hiatus anyway, because I was dealing with a lot of crap. So that's all I had to say about all of this, and I just want you guys to know that I'm here for you too. If you ever need to talk to me, you can send me a message on my Facebook page, most notably. I check that one most frequently. I don't really look at Instagram or Twitter private messages. I'm not even really sure how to, honestly. I'm a really old person, and I don't know how technology works. I can't even pronounce that. So just message me on my Facebook page, my LeahMouse page. I'll listen to you. I'll do my best to respond in a timely manner because I care about you guys and I don't want anything to happen to you guys, and I want to make sure that you always know that I go through bad stuff too, okay? So if you look up to me and you're inspired by me, God, that sounds arrogant, but I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of people tell me that they're inspired by me and they look up to me and stuff. And that's awesome. Thank you. But if that is the case, just know that I go through this crap too. Like, my life isn't just like, woo, I'm so happy all the time and like it's perfect and I have everything I want and everything's great. No. I hit rock bottom every once in a while too. That's why I wanted to tell you guys about this, so that maybe you can feel less alone and see that it is possible to bounce back. It's not because I'm like an extraordinarily strong person. It's just I choose to take something bad and turn it into something positive, and that's one thing you kind of have to train yourself to do if you aren't in the habit of doing that, and you'll feel so much better after you do it. It's so great. I'm here for you. You have my support. You can do it. That's all for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching, and always thank you for your support and your love and your kind words. I love you guys so much, and I am here to listen to you if you need to talk, and it does get better. I promise. So I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.